We got the shape of the land the way that we all felt was right. We then looked at where the uses should go, and we put the uses that generate more traffic and are kind of faster, more intensity uses down along Friars Road. And then as we step up the hill, we lower densities and get to a point where the parcels up on top really are pretty consistent in density from what's existing today.
We kept hearing over and over again from the planning groups and the community councils and different subcommittees that we met with that, you know, we really, really think we need a school in the valley. Based on that need, we started looking around, and we're fortunate enough to meet the folks that run High Tech High in Point Loma. They liked the idea of the site and felt that a K-8 charter school would be viable for them to do, because not only will they create a draw from Mission Valley, but to the extent there's extra capacity there, they could pull some folks off some hills maybe around Mission Valley. So they feel very comfortable with their projections in terms of being able to have a successful school in Mission Valley.
High Tech High teachers used Quarry Falls as a lesson plan with lectures on architecture and urban planning, and then having their students come up with designs for the new school, complete with suggestions from potential future clients.
If you have a playground, the best playground in the world, what would you have on it? What? A tree house? Tree house? How big? As big as this room? As big as this school?
But getting approval for any new project that would bring more people and more traffic to Mission Valley would not be easy. And so began the multi-year roadshow by Tom, his son-in-law Marco Sesa, and the rest of the Sudbury team to gather input and build support for Quarry Falls.
No more would it be just about the buildings. It's about the social experiences and the social connections that we can help provide as developers to the community.
There's a whole other aspects of the park. We have a bioswale that's going to be a model for filtration of stormwater. It handles all our stormwaters. We're looking at doing dog areas, community gardens, rec facilities with basketball, volleyball, playing fields.
Among the issues raised, water, density, and air pollution.
We have so many serious deficiencies in Mission Valley already with traffic and other issues that need to be addressed. Doesn't the overall impact of all these projects need to be looked at together, not individually, because they're all going to affect the traffic, the environment, our drought? They're all going to affect it even far more adversely.
There's a huge health concern with the pollution. This will compound the air pollution, toxic emissions, particle matters. And as far as the delays, the worst one is at Murray Ridge and 805. That one will be 190 minutes with this project. The queue will be over 22,300 feet, over 4 miles long.
The school is not a public school, it's a charter school. So any student from San Diego can go there, and they will get there by being bused in or driven in by their parents.
So if we truly care about the city and we're talking about things like legacy, why can't we leave this as an open space? Why can't that be the grant's legacy? Why not?
While it may not be practical to leave this space empty, the grants do have another gift in mind for San Diego, a gift very personal to Pat and her cousins.
This group of 6 inherited more than one piece of property. Again, we grew up here. It staggers us that you can go to a restaurant on the river and its dumpster is along the river and the outside dining tables are next to the parking lot. And we have a piece on the river, and we have looked at ways to get it developed and have a river experience. And we could not find any way to do both, develop it and finally give ourselves and the rest of the members of the community of Mission Valley access to the river. We could not find a way to have both.
It's my understanding that this is zoned for a 30-story high-rise. Is that true?
Not only is it zoned for it, we have received plans for these things. We have looked at them. You cannot have the 30-story hotel and have the public access that we believe, have the public access that we want on the river.
Oh, it's a wonderful piece of land. It's vacant. Currently, there's no structures on it. And when we were driving around and looking, we kept looking at it over and over again, and it kind of drew our attention as a blank canvas of something that could be really special.
Rob Hutzel is the executive director of the San Diego River Park Foundation, a nonprofit group focused on restoring the river and, in the long term, creating a 52-mile public park that will run from the headwaters to the ocean.
We were approached by the property owner, and they said, would you be interested in talking about this piece of property? And we, of course, got very excited, and our eyes got very big. And we said, yeah, we'd love to. And we sat down and talked. And we found that we had a common vision for that property. It was a place for people and wildlife and the river, you know, which is one of our slogans, people, water, and wildlife, where they could all come together and we could really create this project that was not just for us, but for generations to come.
The plan is for the grants to donate the land to Hutzel's Foundation, which would then raise the funds to build and maintain a discovery center right on the river.
So one of the ideas is people will be able to come up from the center and come up here and look out over the river. And it's kind of an unexpected surprise. Even though you're down there and you're below the berm, you don't really necessarily see what's going on. You kind of come up here, and we'll make this so it's very accessible. That's really important to us, that everybody can access the river. And yet the river's right out there with its open water and all the vegetation. And we're high enough above the river that we won't actually impact the birds and things that live down there, so you'll be able to enjoy them. And that's an important part of the story and what we're trying to do.
You know, I grew up being able to play on that river. If I and my cousins don't do something now, no child in the future might have the opportunity to play on the river. This may be the last opportunity.
But as much as they would like to be generous, the grants are working people, teachers, a musician, a truck driver, and Pat herself, a veterinarian. They cannot afford to give these 17 acres to the River Park Foundation without rights to develop the quarry site, rights ultimately approved or denied by the San Diego City Council. And for Councilmember Donna Fry, there's a conflict. Though she has long advocated for the San Diego River, and she does see some benefit to Quarry Falls, she cannot overlook what she sees as a huge flaw in the plan.
Quarry Falls has parkland proposed. It has a more walkable orientation. It has respect for the river. It proposes having schools. The problem, and again the challenge for this development, is the traffic. And unfortunately a lot of growth and development has been allowed to occur without the accompanying mitigation required to reduce and address the impacts caused by traffic. And there's a history behind that.
The last 20 years of development in Mission Valley has been focused primarily along the trolley, and the developments that have occurred in the valley over the last 20 years have primarily focused on providing land for the trolley and infrastructure for the trolley, and did very little to alleviate the automobile traffic issues in Mission Valley. Our site, now that the trolley is in, our site's going to be dedicated for transportation issues to really solving the automobile-related traffic issues in Mission Valley, like literally off-site, not on-site, but literally off-site. We're spending over $50 million in the valley to improve the traffic at the intersections that are currently congested in Mission Valley.
I think it's not the site per se. I think it's the development, the cumulative impacts, that the failures of the past oftentimes are going to have to be borne by those in the future. And I think that's probably one of the cases here, where you might have something that is a wonderful project. But the fact of the matter is that the people that are living there, many of them, are going to say, wait a minute, it takes me 35 minutes to get 2 miles. And now you're going to add how many more cars?
So
now,
you don't think the mitigation will work?
I don't know. I don't think anybody knows for certain if mitigation will work.